OneHuman just had some weekly updates. I'll go over all the details with that there, including some additional server optimizations, which includes a hotfix and dev notes on some adjustments. That'll lead us into some new store updates, as well as some events and exclusive rewards. We got a ton to talk about. What's up, world? It's Utopia back in with another video. Today we're checking out all things OneHuman. Okay, so let's just jump right into it. First up here, we actually did get some new server optimizations. This does also include a hotfix for 151 and adjustments to the Lunar Oracle rules. So they do have an opening statement here, where they went over that since the 1.15 update, they've closely monitored server performance issues, and they have implemented multiple optimizations. The technical analysis has shown that during events and scenarios with the Lunar Oracle tag, higher player density and frequent deviant spawns can cause sudden spikes in server load, which would impact the network stability of other scenarios on other servers. So essentially it was having a domino effect. So even if you're on a completely different server, other server lag was causing lag on your server and scenario. But they have a solution to actually tackle this. They're making targeted adjustments to the deviant evasion events in the Lunar Oracle scenarios, which go as follows. During a deviant invasion event, if there are more than 30 players within a 120 meter radius, obviously they mentioned not all players may be visible due to performance limitations, but the deviant invasion will temporarily pause to reduce server load. The adjustment will be implemented in an upcoming update, and they'll monitor its impact to make further adjustment and changes there. This really didn't seem like it was a problem on NA or EU servers. At least from what I've seen, I've never seen it that populated in those areas or even during the events for the Lunar Oracle. However, in SEA, that did seem like it was a major issue. I've seen a ton of videos from that region, and there are tons of players just camping one spot. So I could definitely see that being an issue over there, especially in the China client as well. So it seems like this was implemented overall. Again, it doesn't seem like too much of a problem, especially for NA and EU. I've never seen it on PvP or PvE servers. I'm curious if you guys have seen server spikes like that. I definitely haven't, but I also haven't seen more than 5 to 10 players in a given area, so that certainly could be dependent on how populated the servers are. They do continue and have a closing statement here, where they mention at the same time they will continue optimizing the server infrastructure and architecture. That's to improve stability and enhance your experience. Hopefully they do make some notable mentions on that. Again, last year they were supposed to upgrade their server hardware. I never heard anything back if they ever did end up upgrading that. They never made a public announcement. Next time we do have a creator and developer meeting though, that is something I definitely will mention and bring up, and ask if they ever did end up implementing some new hardware. I do believe so, since Prime Wars do run better, or at least from my experience when I was on Manibus, they did run better. It does seem like they want to do further enhancements there. Hopefully we do see that over the next coming weeks and months. For now though, they do have this banded implementation to hopefully kind of combat that. With that update, there is another adjustment here to the pneumatic delivery system of blueprints. It seems like recently they have discovered a loophole through backend data monitoring, where people essentially were obtaining way too many blueprint fragments, and they were able to quickly level their blueprint collection. They have currently optimized this issue, and they will release it as soon as possible. They do have a few remedies here for it already, where if a player has not obtained a blueprint through the pneumatic system, blueprints will then be unlocked directly when unlocking some pneumatic nodes. If the player has already unlocked a blueprint in advance, then the blueprint will be obtained through that pneumatic node, which means that blueprint fragments will no longer be produced through these channels, and each account can only obtain the blueprint reward in the pneumatic node for the first time. They do mention here that accounts that have maliciously exploited this loophole to essentially gain collection levels, they will perform a data rollback after the repair is complete, and restore to normal progress before the loophole was exploited. For accounts that spread loopholes or organize or even assist in that operation, those will be punished, including but not limited to prohibiting specific gameplay, banning, and suspending accounts. So pretty awesome there that they have all this data and they can collect who was doing that, and essentially remove all of those accounts that did participate in that. All the way from essentially removing that data and rolling back to where they had it before they did this loophole, up to actually suspending or even banning accounts that participated in it. So pretty awesome to see that they are taking tons of action here. Way better than other games like New World that didn't even want to roll back when there was a duplication glitch that completely destroyed the economy. So I'm glad that they have the data there to actually roll back and essentially perform and remove all of those blueprint collection levels that were obtained unfairly. Moving on here, we do have some more official news. This covers the cross-platform as a whole. Now, I've had a ton of questions about this already. Essentially, how does cross-platform work from PC to mobile? There is an FAQ here where I'll also go over some additional mentionables. Essentially, they say here everything you need to know from PC to mobile. You can log in with the same account on both Google Play, iOS, Steam, or even Epic Games. If you're playing from mobile to PC, which includes Google Play and iOS accounts that are supported on Loading Bay. Essentially, you won't be able to make a Steam account in Epic Games. Those are not compatible just yet. I'm not sure if they'll add that compatibility in the future, but if you do, you should originally make a PC account, at least if you wanted to use Steam. You could then load up onto the mobile client and play it from there. However, if you originally made your account on the mobile, if you ever do plan to play on PC, you will need to play through the Loading Bay client only. As of right now, you won't be able to link your Steam or Epic Games. So there is that compatibility issue. Now, I actually use the Loading Bay client. As I mentioned before, it is NetEase's client, and it is pretty nice to use. In fact, their download speeds for me are much faster than Steam. Not sure why that is overall. Probably because less people are using that platform. But if you're worried about that, it doesn't have the same issues as Epic Games or other platforms. I've noticed they typically usually have slower download speeds than Steam. This one actually has faster download speeds for me. So if you're worried about Loading Bay, honestly, it is a pretty good platform. Now, there is some additional things around the mobile launch FAQ. I've already covered that in detail from my previous videos, but I will link to them down below just in case you want to check those out. On top of that, there are mobile-only servers. There is a correction from my last video. I did talk about these already, but there is an additional mobile-only server, and that is through the Novice server. So if you wanted to play on Novice, you can play mobile-only. Everything else on PvE is crossplay. Obviously, Novice doesn't have PvP. If you wanted to play Prism vs. Clash or even Evolution's Call, those actually do have mobile-only servers. Now, as far as I know right now, it's only one per region, and it will have an M in brackets before the server name. That way you know if it's mobile only and you will not be able to play on PC. I've tested this already. Even if you try to play via a PC, essentially I do have a character that is made on a Novice mobile server. If I try to play on that server via my PC or via Loading Bay, it literally won't let me log in, and it gives me a warning message saying that there is a device compatibility issue. So yes, this one is locked down to a mobile device and can detect that. Of course, if you haven't already seen, there is tons of cross-platform rewards. Again, I've covered all those in details in my previous videos. There's some exclusive to playing both on mobile and the PC. So if you have a device lying around and you can just log in to just get those rewards, you should do so. That does include a bunch of cosmetics shown off here. As they say, they have 1,116 free cosmetics waiting for you to claim, which is just pretty insane that they're giving those out, and you don't need to purchase anything as the game is free to play. Speaking of cosmetics, we do have a new theme pack that will be available in the shop soon. That is called the Crimson Fantasy, which do show off those two outfits here. Now, it does seem like on the back end and some of the talks in the creator Discord, and from some of the community managers, it seems like the male outfit will potentially be redone. Again, that's not 100% confirmed, but there's been discussion around that they might be redoing that outfit. So this one might get delayed a little bit longer. We'll have to wait and see though. Again, no official word from the developers, this just comes from the community managers. We have two quick last minute mentionables here. First up, we have the Back to Nalcott Guide contest winner announcement. So if you want to check out if you did win, you can do so. I will link the winning thread down below, and you can check out some of the contest winner highlights. And then last up, of course, we do have the weekly question, help, and mega thread. We still haven't got our weekly news report from this. If they do drop that, I will update in the next video. But you can talk about anything in there if you want to. Overall, that's about covered for today's video. If you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, and until the next one. Deuce!